Would you reduce your income in order to build something bigger? I've been listening to this podcast and it's basically this guy talking about how he's a multimillionaire already, and he's talking about how he's reducing his income in order so that he can build this $100 million company. And as he's talking, it really got me thinking. And a lot of the principles that he was talking about, it was just resonating with me, because I was like, hang on a second, this is what I did. When I decided that I was done being broke. I made that decision in order to get myself out of debt first and foremost, and then I made the decision in order to obtain financial freedom. And when I say financial freedom, obviously it means something different to different people, depending on what your goals or what your aspirations are. But for me, what financial freedom meant to me was being able to work if I choose to work, not being forced to go to work in a job that I didn't like because I just needed the money. I wanted to do a role that I enjoyed and I didn't feel a slave to that job, and I wanted to like the people that I work with. And we've all been there sometimes where, you know, even when I just think about my career path from when I was younger to when I was older, when you're younger, you're just like, yeah, I'm just going to do any job. As long as they pay me, I'm just going to do the job. But as you get older, I'm like, I'm not putting up with that kind of behavior or that kind of person or whatever it is that they're doing. So for me, it was really just about that freedom to be able to live life on my terms, not being forced to turn up to the 9 to 5 because I have to, because I need the money, even though they're acting a fool and, you know, don't know how to treat people properly. And it just really got me thinking about the principles that he's talking about. I'm like, actually, that's what I did and that's what I still do now. People always ask me, Harriet, how did you go from zero, not even zero, from -0 to building a multiple 6-figure investment portfolio whilst working a regular 9 to 5? And sometimes I think people expect like a very extravagant answer, like, oh, I did this and I then started this and I made loads and loads of money from doing whatever activity. And it wasn't like that. I still had my 9 to 5 job. It's really about building those foundations first. Sometimes there's that picture, or not picture, but that, I don't know if you've seen it. It's like a, what is it? Like an iceberg that's in the water. And you can only see the tip of the iceberg, but you can't see what is all underneath. And for me, how I've got to the point of building a multiple 6-figure investment portfolio was by sticking to those basics, those foundations, and I still do it to this day. So things like whenever I got a pay rise at work, and I'm not saying don't go out and don't go and enjoy yourself or treat yourself. I treated myself. However, I had what I called a fun budget. I had a set amount of money that I had allocated, and that was for me to do whatever the heck I wanted to do, go spend it. And I made myself spend it every single month. Or if I didn't spend it every single month, it was because I was saving it for a certain thing. So for example, holidays is my jam. Everybody has something that they'll spend their money on. Some people will be like, oh, cars, or like lavish homes. Like for me, like those things don't do it for me. Like to be fair, I live a very simple life, but when it comes to traveling and holidays, that's where like I'll blow money. Clothes, cars, all of that kind of stuff, that just doesn't do it for me. But traveling, like I would drop like thousands like on a flight. I would, or thousands on thousands on just like travel, because for me it's really about that experience. Things like cars, and don't get me wrong, yes, there's different kind of comfortability levels, but at the end of the day, a car's going to get you from A to B. So like, as I said, that just doesn't do it for me. And it's not saying that if cars are your thing that you're wrong for doing that. Everybody has their own thing. So as I said, it really got me thinking about those basics, those foundations, and I still do them to this day. I have a monthly finance meeting with myself every single month, and I've been doing this consistently for years now. And as I said, it's just now a habit. When I first started, it was so foreign to me. But again, in order for you to build wealth, in order for you to have money so that you can put money towards your investments, in order for you to be able to pay off debt or whatever it is that you want to do, like in your financial life, you have to start with those basics. And for like one of the basics for me is still to this day, where is my money going? Because what tends to happen is the more money you make, if you don't have a plan for that money, it's just going to be flittering out into certain areas. And the podcast that I watched, he was saying that obviously as a business owner, he had like a lot more expenses, and he'd basically over the years just let that go. And he said just on one credit card, he had about, I think it was like over $5,000 worth of subscriptions that was going out. And as I said, as a business owner, yes, you're going to have like extra expenses, but he was saying that he noticed he stopped and he literally every single line, where is this money going? And he had subscriptions for services that he wasn't even using anymore. Likewise, when I'm coaching people, I'm like, where is your money going? And this is one that people like to avoid, because you cannot tell your money where to go unless you know where it is going. Whether that's paying off debt, whether that's putting money towards your investments. Where's your money going? And sometimes it's in those little areas that you don't even realize. Sometimes people think it's in the big expenses. And when people say to me, oh, Harriet, I can't afford that. And I'm just like, if I went through your bank statement, I will show you exactly where that money is so you can afford that. So sometimes we just have that automatic habit. Look at where your money is going. You'll be absolutely shocked. One client that I'm even working with, it's kind of like they've been avoiding doing this, and we're actually going to be getting it done tomorrow on the coaching call that we've got together. We're looking at where's your money going, because they earn decent money. But if you look at their their expenses are so high. That could be money that could be going towards kind of like building that future wealth, so that you don't have to work so hard. Wouldn't it be great? And I remember like when I was just there, like in my 9 to 5, I was just like, do you know what? I do not want to be stuck in this job until I'm 65 years old, and then be told at 65, yeah, then you can go and enjoy your life when my body's kind of like aged and whatever it is. I'm just like, that's not the life that I want. I don't want that. And as I said, I made a decision. I was like, I need to do something different, because I tell you, if nothing changes, nothing changes. It started with that decision for me. I was like, I need to learn about this like investing stuff. I need to first and foremost get myself out of debt first. Once I got myself out of debt, I was like, okay, let's learn about this investing stuff. What can we invest in? And as I said, there's so many different aspects of investing. But I was like, this is not the life that I want. So, as I said, it's like short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. And people think that you have to be earning loads and loads of money. No, you do not. I built a multiple 6-figure investment portfolio just from working a 9 to 5. But there were some strategic things that I did that most people won't do. I.e., when I got a pay rise. Most people are like, okay, let me go spend that extra money. I'm like, no, this is going towards my freedom fund, my investment fund. So I took that money, again, took a portion of it, let me add a little bit to my fund budget, but I was like, the rest of it, this is going to my future investments. When I had extra money coming in, I kept my life at the same level, like when, I wasn't earning very much, even still now today. Even though like income has gone up, I didn't let my expenses go up. I was very cautious of that. So cautious, but especially coming from being in debt. I was like, how I suffered when I was in debt. I was like, I am not going back there. I refuse. I absolutely refuse to go back to those debt days. I was like, I want something different for my life, and I'm not going back there. So I'm going to do whatever it is that I have to do in order to not go back there. And as I said, it's about those foundational habits. So even just if you take one thing from this video, go and look at your bank statement. Where is your money going? Because literally that is your future finance. Finance is there. That's your financial freedom right there. Again, I'm not saying don't have things like Netflix and whatever, but again, this is like one of the things I was listening to from like another coach. He was saying, if you are broke, or if you do not have the money in your bank account that you want, it's like, you need to stop watching television. You need to stop watching Netflix. Or if you're going to be watching those things, you need to be listening to things that are going to help you to increase your income, to get you out of your current situation. If you're just sat there watching television for entertainment purposes and you are broke, you don't have money, you're not where you want to be financially, you need to stop doing that. Even me today, I don't watch television. Or if I'm watching something like online, I'm like, this has got to be beneficial to me. How is this helping me to either grow mentally, learn something, or helping my spiritual life, it has got to be beneficial to me. And as I said, don't get me wrong, I have the moments where I'm there just like watching, you know, just for entertainment purposes, but I limit that. I'm not going to be there for, like, I used to watch a lot. When I was broke, I used to watch so much television. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that ironic? When I was broke and I didn't have money, I used to watch loads of television. But then when I'm strategic about now what I watch, because what goes in must come out. What goes in must come out. On purpose, I listen to people that are further along financially than where I am. What can I learn from them? What can I take from them? Whatever it is that they're saying, how can I implement that in my life? How can I implement that in my life? And likewise, what are you listening to? What are you watching? Because what goes in must come out. It's either programming you for something positive or it's programming you for something negative. Again, the news. I don't watch the news. I call it the negative news channel because it's just negative after negative after negative. And listen, misery loves company. If you keep watching all of those negative things, what are you going to start thinking? More negative thoughts? So I'm like, no, on purpose. I'm very like, what am I watching? What is it that they say? Even movies. I'm like, I'm not watching just any film. What is that movie about? What am I going to learn from it? What am I going to take from it? I'm not just going to be sat there, just be watching some foolishness. I'm not doing it. So anyway, I just wanted to share my thoughts on that because, as I said, sometimes it's those basics. Sometimes we don't want to do the basics, but it's the basics and that foundation you have to build on a solid ground, because those financial principles, those money management skills that I learned, even when I was getting myself out of debt, that's the same skills that I used to build up my savings, to then transition to then getting my money to work for me through investing. You have to not get bored of those foundations because they are the ones that are going to take you through. So yeah, just wanted to share my thoughts on that. If you found this helpful, don't forget to drop me a like and please subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be sharing all things personal finance here. All right, take care.